Hey there, let's take a brief look into linear, quadratic, and cubic functions. So starting off with linear functions, what comes to mind when you hear the word linear? For me, I think of the base word, which is line. Because basically, a linear function is just a straight line on a Cartesian plane, like this, when this is the y and this being the x. So, and it follows the general formula of y equals to mx plus c, where y is the coordinate on the y-axis, x being the coordinate on the x-axis, m being how steep the line is, like from a horizontal position, how much is it going upwards, whether upward or downward, like this one, from its horizontal position, and c being the point at which the line intercepts with the y-axis. That is a linear function. Now moving on to quadratic functions. Now when you hear the word quadratic, you probably think of the number 4, right? But quadratic function is actually to the power of 2 only. Now, where does this confusion come from? It's actually quadratic comes from the Latin word of quadratus. Latin word of quadratus, which means square. And this is read, this x square, this x to the power of 2 is read as x squared, and a square, coincidentally, has 4 sides. That's why quad usually means 4. So a quadratic function typically looks like this. It's a curve, can be upward, downward, can be this way, it can even be this way. And it follows the formula of y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a cannot be 0, otherwise your x squared will no longer exist in this equation, and it will become a linear function. And c in this case is also the y-intercept. Now, and that's all for quadratic. And lastly, we have cubic functions. Cubic. Now, you probably think of cubic as being 3-dimensional, like having x, y, and z coordinates, but it's actually just to the power of 3. So you can think of it like cubic being 3D. So you can think of the x being to the power of 3. Okay? And a cubic function is much different from a linear and quadratic. It has 4 different shapes, basic shapes as well. It can look like this. It can look like this. It can even look like this or this. Okay, and this one follows a similar formula to a quadratic function, which is y equals to ax cubed. You see, this power 3 is pronounced as cube, plus bx squared plus cx plus d. In this case as well, a cannot be 0, otherwise there will no longer be a x3, and it will just be a quadratic function. And d, in this case, is the y-intercept. Now, if you have trouble remembering like the shapes of these graphs, like y is a quadratic function like this, or y is a cubic function like some wavy motion, you can simply remember it using this method. Linear is a line, right? So it's made up of just one basic line. And quadratic is to the power of 2. So you can think of it as being made up of 2 lines. So you have your curve, then it's made out of 2 lines. So it's one up, one down. And then you join them together. Like that. or the other way around. Like let's say it's like this. So one down and then one up, and then you join them together. Quadratic. And same with the cubic function. Like let's say this one. Then it's made out of 3 lines. So one going up, then go down, and then go back up again. Or if it's going in this way, this one will go down first, go up, and then come back down. So it's always going in an up down motion. And that's how you can basically remember it if you have trouble. And so that's all for this brief look into linear, quadratic, and cubic functions. In the next video, I'll be talking about how manipulating these values MC or A, B, and D in a cubic function. These 3 functions will change how the graph looks. So you can stay tuned to that. And that's all I have for now. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it. Thank you.